Video bloggery.
Hello, Chris. It is 11:40 on day one of NaNoWriMo, which means the day is drawing to a close and my word count is a pathetic 580 words, which is a bit of a travesty for a senior veteran NaNoWriMo person such as myself. I wanted to share a bit of what I wrote. This is sort of the opening to chapter 1. The real opening is actually this ponderous meditation on death, which reads sort of like the opening voiceover of an episode of Heroes. When does death really happen? When do we stop gazing into the abyss, teetering at the edge, and finally plunge into it? When do we reach the point from which nothing, no science in existence today or that will ever exist, can bring us back? Is there even such a point? So that's not the part I'm going to read. The part I'm going to read is a part where we start with the main character. So, first was the blinding light. Next to come was the identity, I am. Then the name, I am Gary Shepard. This was all within the first couple seconds. World had been established, that was the light. Self had been established, that was the shepherd. More or less a complete picture. The rest was just details. The details came slowly and in small pieces, world and self jumbled. Each detail arrived and Shepard had to sort through them into two piles, world and self. This should have been easy, but it wasn't, and further insight as to precisely why it was so difficult was going to have to wait until a fuller conception of the self had been established. The sound of honking horns, that was part of the world. The sudden burst of memories, the 35 years of being Gary Shepard, that went in the self pile. The freezing cold, clearly world. The sensation of shivering, well, that was the self, obviously. But wait, shivering is caused by the cold, or it's part of the sensation of cold, or was there any real distinction at all? That's when it hit him. These piles were going to be utterly inadequate, weren't they? Gary Shepard, the self, was part of the world, in the world, obviously. But that was wrong. Wait, if he could find it wrong, then that meant he had rationality. Chalk that up to the self. No, never mind that. Gary Shepard was distinctly aware of being in the world and of it being wrong. And it didn't take long to figure out why it was wrong. He already had his answer. It was in his memories, at the tail end of those 35 years. Gary Shepard had definitely died. And yet here he was amid the light, which, now that his eyes had adjusted, wasn't really so blinding anymore. So that is part of what I have written for my novel, and I'd like to write a little bit more tonight, but I don't think I'm going to have time because I have a lot of reading to do for class tomorrow. So I can either skip that and write, or do that and procrastinate writing and then catch up later, and I think I'm probably going to do the latter. This is me taking a drink of water because I have a cough. Have I coughed yet in this video? I don't know if I have coughed yet in this video. Now I have. Chris, I look forward to hearing about your novel, so do that.